Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Reflection series, where we hear stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And today we have with us Jennifer Forrest. Jennifer, a mother of three, has been practicing Raj Yoga meditation for 25 years, and she has recently started writing poems, which she really enjoys. And the topic of the story today is a dilemma. This is a story about Jenny's environmental awareness and how spiritual knowledge has helped her understand why things are as they are. So, without any further ado, let's hear from Jenny what was what she was thinking about the environment and what changed after she got spiritual knowledge. So, a hearty welcome, Jenny, and it's over to you.
Thank you, Lata. The reason I chose to speak about the environment is I had my first thought when I was 10, 11 years old, sitting in primary school. And the teacher at the time gave a lesson on planned obsolescence. And I didn't really understand the concept, and it took a while for me to sort of come to grips with what she was saying. And as I was listening to the lesson, I started having these images of mountains of rubbish just piling up. And we just seemed to be drowning in all this rubbish. And I put my hand up and I asked her, what do we do when all the rubbish tips are filled up with all the stuff that we're throwing away? Because it was planned to be throwaway. And she started talking about the throwaway society. And when I asked the question, she looked at me quite hard and said, don't ask stupid questions. That will never happen. And I kind of sort of sat there and thought, well, what do I know? I'm only like 10, 11 years old. And then as I went through school and became more aware of the environment, I didn't go looking for how things were in the world, but they came my way. And of course, this is like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, long before there were computers and, search engines and things like that, where today you can just, and it's there. It was like documentaries, magazines, news clips that the source of information came from. And over the years, I became aware of just how bad, petroleum was for the environment, how bad the byproducts were of plastic, Vaseline, and a number of other things that people make out of petroleum. And also factories, how they just belched out all this pollution with no regards to the environment around the factories, and logging and cutting down all the forests. And we still talk about it today, but for me, these topics we've been talking about since the 70s and the 80s. And I found that I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression around the way that we as people treated the planet. And I couldn't really figure out how to go about changing things. And at times I had thoughts, like one thought I had was, okay, no more plastic. I don't need plastic bags. And this is back in the 80s. And I'd go into a shop and I'd buy something and I'd say, oh, okay, I don't need your plastic bag. And the shopkeepers would look at me in absolutely horror and go, oh, you have to take our plastic bags. We can't sell you anything unless you do. And I'm like, but I have my own bag. I don't need it. And now those same shopkeepers, insist that I bring my own bag. And either that or they'll sell me a bag. And I'm just thinking the change of people over the years. It's quite it's taken a long time, and it's quite remarkable how they've sort of started thinking like that. But it's just taken such a long time. And I had like big issues about chemicals and putting chemicals into the body, and most of the food we had was so chemically laced. And in the 80s, I decided to go chemical free. So I spent 12 months trying to eradicate chemicals from my life and started making my own sort of cleaning products and soap and shampoos. And I did it for 12 months. And at the end of the 12 months, I decided there's two ways to go: either completely crazy or detox and minimalize. And I have lived my life since the 80s of minimalizing the amount of plastic I have, the amount of chemicals I expose myself to, and my family at the same time. I minimize the amount of chemicals I expose them to, and I just detox periodically. And I think that's really helped my well-being, and then also in a very small way it's helped the environment, because I'm not perpetuating factories that produce a lot of chemicals and byproducts and polluting the planet. And nowadays it's so much easier because you've got all these products on the shelves that are supposed to be, environmentally friendly, and plastics now are being made from bacteria instead of petroleum products. So it's becoming easier. But for me, the biggest change was when I started this way of life, and I started attending the morning class and listening to the spiritual knowledge that was shared. And one of the points that really helped right in the beginning was everything is going to turn to dust. And I really embraced that, and I took it on board, and I thought about it, and it's like, yeah, okay, it's okay. Everything is the way it's meant to be, and it will all be taken care of in the long run. And I don't need to be anxious and depressed about the environment. I can just live easily with plastics and pollution and, cars and aeroplanes and all those things that are so destructive, and people, cutting down all the trees and just really destroying the planet. But yeah, it's all going to be taken care of in the long run. It's all going to revert back to its original state. And my main thing is to look after my internal environment and really practice everything that I hear in the spiritual classes in the morning, and really become a loving, caring being that we all start out as, and let go of all the anxiety and worry and depression around the way things are, because everyone is playing their part, and everyone is playing their part accurately. And all I have to do is be supportive on all levels for all souls, and just let them get on doing with whatever they need to be doing. And the more I delve into this knowledge, the more stable and more loving I find myself, and the more calm and less anxious I am. And I'm able to be the support and be the stability for those around me when things happen. And I can embrace all ways of life, however people choose to live their lives. Without worrying too much about the environment and how we are destroying the planet.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Jenny. Uh, One of the words that caught my attention while you were sharing is that you said we have to take care of our internal environment, uh, and the external then will take care of itself. Would you like to elaborate a little bit more about how can we take care of our internal environment?
Well, there's two levels. One is the physical, and the way of taking care of the physical, like internal environment, is, well, to become vegetarian for starters, and not eat all the heavy meat products that are quite destructive on the body, and step away from, popping a pill here and taking a, medicine there, and eating fresh food, fresh fruit and vegetables, because that's what the body really needs. And I know myself, I've gone through times when I've kind of binged on like junk food and feel quite sick, and then get back to the fresh fruit and vegetables, and yeah, feel really, really quite healthy in the body. So, because I was always into fresh fruit and vegetables before I came to this knowledge. And once I came to this knowledge, I thought, it doesn't matter. And I kind of let the diet slip and got into a lot of junky type food. And I got so sick, I thought, no, get back to the fresh stuff. And the body needs a constant flow of fresh fruit and vegetables in order to function properly, and helps with the immune system and all the other systems in the body. And the other internal environment is spiritually. And as we know, to really monitor my thoughts, I only have like positive and uplifting thoughts. And we're designed to think. So we can't not think. But I can choose what I think. And even though something like quite frightening or sort of terrible happens, I don't buy into the horror of the situation. I step back and learn the lesson, because it's come to me for a reason. And the reason is what I have to work out. And when I work out the reason, well, that's like positive thinking, because there's a lesson there. And when I look at the lesson, then I'm able to just accept what's happening. And that adds to my stability and my emotional stability. Instead of getting really upset and blaming people, just go, okay, what's going on here? And why has this happened? And maybe it's just a test to prove to me how far I've come. Because if we don't have the test, how do we know how far we've come and how much have we sort of taken on the knowledge and are practicing it? Because it's all very well to sit around in a nice room being peaceful, but how peaceful am I when I step outside and start interacting with people and things and objects?
That's beautiful. That the real uh, proof that we have become peaceful is being peaceful in an unpeaceful environment or a peaceless environment.
Yeah.
Do you have any like quick experience or anything you want to share about where you might have experimented it and
Well,
how you felt?
I have a recent experience. I was out driving, and I've just recently got a car, and I can live with it for all the pollution it produces. And someone hit me, and it was about 8:30 in the morning, and we swapped details and everything. And I went back to my place, and my daughter was visiting at the time, and it's her car, and she's lent it to me. And I got home and I just carried on doing what I was doing, because we're having visitors that day, and I didn't want to spoil her day, so I didn't say anything to her. And I just, cooked lunch and everything, and people came round. We had a really good time. They left, and then she discovered the ding in the car, and she was quite upset. She came in and she goes, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I said, "Oh, I didn't want to spoil your day. I just wanted you to have a really good day. Then I was going to tell you." And she goes, well, you could have told me. I said, "Well, I didn't want to spoil your day. Just, when did it happen? 5 months ago? 10 months ago?" And I looked at her, I said, "Oh, this morning when I was out." And she was so shocked. She just looked at me and she said, "But you're not shaking." Like, she couldn't tell that something had happened by my stage. She was expecting, some sort of reaction, because, it is quite traumatic having a ding, being hit in the car. And she couldn't believe how stable I was and how I just sailed through the day without even shaking or being upset so it was a good example of, just how far I've come, because it was just, oh, well, okay, take care of it when I have time, because I didn't have time straight away.
Yeah. That's a very sweet story. Yeah. And many things like that can happen and do happen. And our day kind of then revolves around sometimes around what happened in the morning because it wasn't something we had expected. But it's a test, as you say, like a proof to say, okay, that happened, but there are other things that we need to do, we had planned to do, and why not do those things nicely and peacefully, and
Yeah.
then look into what had happened.
I could have completely changed the whole day, but I didn't see the point, because I wasn't going to change the fact the car was hit.
Yeah, wonderful.
And that's
And
why
I'm
those
sure,
sort of tests are important, because it showed me just how far I've come in 25 years and how stable and emotionally solid I am. That big thing like that didn't even bother me.
yeah. I was thinking on the same lines that definitely the meditation practice or the spiritual practice over so many years might have been the foundation to, prepare you for anything like that. So, would you like to share a bit uh, how your journey has been, or like maybe a couple of benefits that you have had because of your meditation practice?
Um,
One obviously is the stability that you have
and
shared.
also understanding the philosophy of karma, that my actions have an impact. Because before I came, I didn't think whatever I did made a difference. And then when you understand the philosophy of karma, that, your actions do make a difference, and that what is my part in the whole drama, not just like my little bit, but overall, and how what I think does make a big difference to the whole world. And I was just trying to think of examples when I've noticed what I think makes a difference, and I can't think of any offhand. But I know when I did the lesson on karma through the course, that it changed my whole attitude of being a mother instantly. And I had a daughter, because I had 3 daughters, like you said, and one of them insists on breaking bones. And before I came to this knowledge and she'd break a bone, I was distraught. I had failed as a mother, and I wasn't really coping with her breaking bones. And then after I came to this knowledge, she broke a bone, and it was like, okay, what do I have to do? I'm a mother. I just have to get her medical. It's her accounts. I can't live her karma for her. She has to go through it, but I just have to look after her and get her well. And then after a couple of years, she ended up having a major head injury. And she went from an A student to a D student overnight. And it was devastating. And I have never held on to the knowledge as tightly as I did for those 3 years while she recuperated from the head injury. And in the end, after all the tests and all the nursing and all the doctor's visits and everything, they said that she'd end up with 3% brain damage, and only her and I would ever notice the 3% because she was so high functioning. And to this day, yeah, it's only her and I notice the change in her from all those years ago. But if it wasn't for this knowledge, I would never have coped with such a traumatic injury to my child. Right? And yeah, it just made such a big difference. And of course, me being different helped her and allowed her to be different and for her to recuperate without my emotional sort of baggage foisted on her like I used to do, because you know I was so distraught every time she hurt herself. And now it's like, oh, okay. And she's grown up, so I don't even have to, be the mother when she gets injured. She takes care of herself.
That's nice. That's nice. Wonderful, Jenny. Thank you. So many stories today. Yeah. So yeah, definitely a lot has, gone in so we can become that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The impact I make on the environment.
yeah.
Mm.
And now if I could request you, Jenny, to lead us into some meditation through a commentary. So our viewers and ourselves will be able to get a glimpse of that experience as well.
All right.
Thank you.
So I sit comfortably, let go of any tension, as tension is unnatural. Take a couple of deep breaths, and I feel myself being drawn up. All my energy is drawn up to the center of the forehead, and I sit there as a point of conscious light energy. A gentle hand reaches down and cradles me and lifts me up out of the body, through the atmosphere, and places me beside all these other points of light. And we sit there. We're all gazing down at the planet. And golden energy starts flowing down to the planet. And the planet is covered with golden light energy. All souls are touched by this golden light energy. And this golden energy enables each soul to take a step with courage and confidence in its next part of the drama to bring about world transformation, to heal the suffering, not just of people, but of animals, and the planet, allowing it to return to its original state. And all souls to return to their original state of peace, love, and happiness. Filled with compassion and mercy for all. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jenny, for that beautiful experience and also for the wonderful stories shared today. I'm sure the viewers have taken a lot of benefit and will take it with them for different situations in their lives as well. And I would also like, I would also like to thank the viewers for joining in today. And if you would like to know more about us, please do visit our website, www.brahmakumaris.org.au. It is flashing up on the screen right now. You can get information about all our programs and the addresses of your local centers. And it would be wonderful if you would like to visit the center as well. So thank you once again, and take care of the internal and external environment. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.